right. A new day, a new episode, and dropping the beat.
Daily Scrum. I wish I could like rap, because I would like do something cool there, but
yeah, I think we're gonna be spitting some fire on this one though, Todd. This is we got a really I'm not one to shy away from controversy. Like I'll fire it up. Todd, recently a listener got a hold of me and said, "You know, Ryan, you're pretty direct and Todd's more thoughtful." And I thought,
oh, did they say that?
And I was like, I don't know if that's like good or bad, but I guess I am.
You know, it's ironic because I've never been called thoughtful before, so I might look. I'm sitting a little taller for this episode, Ryan.
I know, it's great. So Todd, let's knock everyone down a peg. Yeah. How do you define a bad Scrum Master? I'd like to thank the viewer who asked that question and teed up this opportunity for us to make everybody angry, because I would say I wouldn't necessarily say we're good ones yet. Like we're always learning, right? And so I want to like throw that caveat out there. Todd and I actually wrote a book, Fixing Your Scrum, Practical Solutions to Common Scrum Problems. There's a link in the description that highlights over 100 ways that we were bad Scrum Masters. Mm-hmm. And so take that caveat with anything we're about to say. We've made almost every mistake you can make as a Scrum Master, and we documented it and we tried to learn from it. So please don't get wrapped around the axle on this. But when it comes to a bad Scrum Master, Todd, what comes to mind?
I think just an attribute of what might be a bad Scrum Master is when it's all about them. Yeah. Right. And so, I say that having made that mistake before, right? I'm sure anything we say here, we've made the mistake, but it is not all about you as a Scrum Master. We said
72.
It's 72. Yes.
Page 72.
It really isn't. And I think we detailed that in our book, probably some examples of where we've messed this up. Much to us the lessons. Yeah. So I think that's one thing that you could say a bad Scrum Master makes it all about them.
I would definitely say that. I would also say this doesn't necessarily make them bad, but we run into a lot of Scrum Masters that are stuck in that Dunning-Kruger kind of cycle, where they're the talented amateur, but they don't know what they don't know, and they're not open to trying to figure out what they don't know. And so they're stuck in this state where they think they know a lot, but they're not open to feedback. I think the uncoachable Scrum Master is a bad Scrum Master, right? And so that's kind of where I'm going with that. It's like, if you're just not open to any kind of feedback, if you're not, and we've run into people, Todd, where we've tried to say, hey, we'd love to talk to you about something. Are you open to that? And they've answered no. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so we're just going to keep our observation to ourselves and walk away. We don't have permission. Coaching is a permission-based stance, and we don't have that permission. We walk away, but we also kind of shake our heads like, wow, if we're not coachable as a Scrum Master, how do we expect to be able to coach others? And so I think that for me is a definitive sign of perhaps a Scrum Master who needs to grow in maturity.
Yeah. And that makes me just think like I identify with the fact that right now, if I would attend a professional Scrum Master class, I guarantee that I would learn a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So take that stance. I was thinking of another thing, because I think we're going back and forth here. Let's keep this train rolling, right? Yeah. I'm going to be super direct and not thoughtful.
Good.
No. So I would say it undermines the organization.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So when you're forgetting the fact that your Scrum team is within an organization, you maybe enter in too much of your Scrum bubble, and you're forgetting to talk with management, or you're just not. You're absolutely downright undermining management, undermining different departments because, well, we do Scrum. You're not as good as us, right? That's really forgetting the fact that you need to serve as a change agent, and part of that is in service of the organization. What you can do there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a Scrum Master that forgets the organization in their work is certainly down on that maturity level as well. It's a difficult question, right? Because you don't want to call people bad, but we do want to hold the mirror up. And we want you to realize that when we hold the mirror up to ourselves, we see like my coaching stance is not where it needs to be. Right. That is something that if I don't address, I could drift into that bad Scrum Master realm. right? I feel like from a facilitation standpoint, that's where I've focused most of my career. I feel like I understand the framework really well. But as far as that coaching stance, man, I've got to level up. Like it's an area that I've always kind of avoided. And so maybe there's some opportunities coming up for that. But I think if you can hold that mirror up and be honest about what's looking back and then come up with a plan for improvement, or reach out and get mentors. Todd and I bounce off each other all the time. He'll say to me, Ryan, that coaching question was not good. Or I'll say, hey, Todd, quit thinking act, or whatever it is that we're doing. Like first of all, we need community. So we need each other to help out. But we also, when we look in that mirror, be honest about what we see, take coaching and feedback from others that we know, like, and trust, and really always strive to improve. And I think you can avoid this trap.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, I mean, since you shared, right, with coaching stance, as you kind of alluded to, I'm very analytical. I think you know that really well. And so what I tend to do is I tend to get too analytical about things.
Yep.
And like you said, stop thinking, act. That's where, and you know what, I need to constantly work on myself for that, right? I need to stop like being overly analytical and bring that to the table. So what I guess what I'm saying is I think we probably all have really big strengths in what we do and areas that we're probably all going to need to constantly work on. It's like exercise. I'm not a natural runner. If I work really hard at it, I'm pretty okay. Right.
I'm pretty okay at fitness.
Yeah. Right. So I think it's that, but I think you got this message across. We're not here to say that anybody's bad. This is a tough question to ask because that's not us. That's not what we do. But a lot of people we work on things.
I will say this: if you've watched this whole video to the end and you're sitting there as a Scrum Master saying that's not me, reflect. Look back in the mirror, right? Yeah. Because I would encourage you to watch this again and really think about the mirror, right? But I hope most of you are thinking about, areas to improve, or you want to reach out and find a mentor, or you want to work with your community of practice to really work with each other to level up. And I hope we've spurred that, because we don't want you falling in this trap. We care about all of you too much for you to go down this path. All right.
Solid. Yeah.
Let us know in the comments what you think. Was this helpful? Did we say anything that was a little too crazy? Let us know. Ask your questions. Leave them below. Certainly helps us out. Check out the socials. Like and subscribe. Do all that fun YouTube stuff that all the pro YouTubers tell you to do at the beginning that we always wait till the end. Check out the videos below. The AI thinks you'll like them. We do too. There's over 100 now, Todd. That's pretty crazy.
I think we're like almost like over 110.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Well, I'll tell you what, everybody, we hope that look in the mirror is a fruitful one for you, that sparks some good things.
Mirror on the wall.
Yeah, who's the prettiest Scrum Master of all? And it's me.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's end this one. We're getting silly.
All right, yeah, see you.
Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Cheers, everybody.